The topic of this video is an unpleasant one. Violence in prison. I'm not just going to be talking about it. I'm going to be showing clips of brutal and graphic violence that occurred against inmates in riots. I'm not showing these clips to glorify the violence or to titillate my audience. I'm showing them as part of the ongoing conversation about prison safety and in response to some of the trend that I've seen against prison privatization in the media recently. I want to note that these clips are shown with the deepest sympathy to the victims of the violence portrayed herein and to the families of those who didn't survive. Nobody should endure conditions like these. Nobody. If you cannot watch clips of graphic violence, skip ahead whenever I display a timestamp on the screen, and I will show you the time to skip ahead in order to not watch the violence. The first clip is of a beating that occurred in a Mississippi private prison of a federal inmate recently. This is a short video. Notice the dozen inmates run into the corner where the melee breaks out. There's a guy in the very corner covering his face, but he gets beaten anyway. No guards anywhere. And then when the fight's over, the guy's still alive. He didn't die. He isn't beaten to death. That's a private prison. That clip is being used as an example of the type of violence that can occur in private prisons. I've noted before that private prisons tend to house less violent inmates than state-run facilities. The following is a clip of the Bloody Wednesday riot that occurred at Pelican Bay in the year 2000. I picked this clip because it happened right before I got locked up. So I knew a couple of guys who were present for it, and I have some insight into it. It should be noted, this action was an officially sanctioned action by the MA against the black inmates on the yard. The Serenos were given permission to assault them, kill them, as part of an ongoing racial fight between the two of them. I'm going to note again, this content is graphic. The first clip is to demonstrate how fast this can happen. You watch the basketball game. Watch the guy in the center of the key. He takes a shot, and he's getting stabbed before the ball leaves his hand. That's how quick these things happen. To the right of the basketball court, you'll see somebody who gets knocked down. He can't get back up. You don't get to give up in a riot. They don't quit whenever you're down. Those are knives. They're stabbing that man, and they keep stabbing him. He tries to get away, and it does not matter. The riot's over whenever everybody who can fight can't get back up. That's the only way it ends. That's what a state facility is. The knives aren't the scariest part of a riot. The gunners are. They announce they're going to open fire, that they're going to shoot, but you can't stop. There are knives everywhere, even if you wanted to stop. The gang members wouldn't let you. You won't see the bullet coming that takes your life. This is the only way a riot ends. That was a terrible riot. Terrible. They found 50 knives on the yard. 50. They shot 16 inmates, one fatally. Dozens were stabbed. It lasted about a half hour in the rain. I wasn't there for that riot. I wasn't in a riot that bad. The potential was always there. What I remember about High Desert? Violence, blood, gangs and knives. After watching that video, I'm gonna have nightmares for a week. And I did my time in state-run facilities. I'm still on parole. There are some things I'm simply not going to talk about. The events that led up to that riot are on that list. It's just too easy for me to offend the wrong person and end up back in prison. If you want to know more about the precipitating events of the Bloody Wednesday riot, read the book The Black Hand. It goes into details that I simply can't. I'm not trying to say private prisons are good and state-run facilities are bad. It's not that simple. I'm just saying that there are not simple answers to complex questions. To the guy bleeding on the ground, I don't think it really matters if it happened in a state-run facility or a privately funded facility. After watching that video, I'm going to go and hug my family. I suggest you do the same. Life is precious and fragile and taken from us so easily. Do not take it for granted. Don't waste 1 minute.